You ever have one of those days when you think you've got everything under control, and then the universe just decides to prank you? Yeah, that was me. My name's Haythem. I'm a professional Polish-English translator living in New York City. Been doing this for a good while now. Long enough to know how unpredictable people can be when you mix cultures, egos, and alcohol in one room. Normally, my jobs are straightforward. Business meetings, immigration interviews, sometimes translating documents about plumbing codes. Not glamorous stuff. But a few weeks ago, I got a call from a local art gallery asking me to translate for a cultural exchange event between Polish painters and American artists. They told me it would be classy, elegant, civilized, and you know what? I actually believed them. So I said yes. I even ironed my shirt, which, if you know me, that's a sign I took it seriously. The day of the event, the weather in Manhattan was perfect. Cool breeze, orange evening light reflecting off the glass buildings. One of those days that make you love this city. I walked into the gallery, and it was like stepping into another world. White walls, spotlights bouncing off every painting. People whispering and pretending to understand abstract art. One painting literally looked like someone had thrown spaghetti sauce at a white canvas, and there was a guy in a scarf saying it represented the chaos of existence. Sure, buddy. Anyway, I met the Polish artists first. A cheerful group, loud, passionate, the kind of people who laugh with their whole bodies. The leader, Marek, shook my hand and said, "You'll have fun tonight, my friend. Americans love art. They just don't always understand it." I chuckled and said, "Don't worry, I'll make sure no one starts an international incident." Then came the Americans. They were exactly what you'd expect. Confident, polished, and a little too self-satisfied. You could smell the cologne and ambition in the air. Once everyone gathered, I started my job. Translating introductions, handshakes, little jokes about culture. It was all going smoothly. People were smiling, nodding, clinking glasses. Then Marek began his speech. Deep, poetic, talking about what inspiration means to him. I translated every word carefully, watching the Americans nod like they were listening to a TED Talk. That's when it happened. From the entrance of the gallery, a loud voice cut through the air. Bober Kurwa, J.A. Pierdol, Jakey, B-Y-D-L-E. The words bounced off the walls like a gunshot. Every head turned. You could feel the confusion. The Americans froze. Their polite smiles vanished instantly. One guy nearly spilled his champagne. A woman clutched her purse like someone had cursed her family. Meanwhile, the Polish artists went silent. Total shock. Then, after about 10 seconds, which felt like 10 minutes, they burst out laughing. Not a polite giggle. I'm talking full-on, can't breathe, red-faced, wheezing laughter. Marek was doubled over, holding his stomach. One of the painters had tears streaming down his face. Even the stoic woman who'd been quiet all night started slapping the table, gasping for air. The Americans looked around in horror. One whispered to me, "Did he just insult someone's mother?" I could barely keep a straight face. I said, No, relax. It's kind of a Polish meme thing, like a running joke. Imagine someone yelling, "Holy guacamole, my toaster's on fire," in the middle of a museum. Did they understand? Not really. But when they saw the Poles still laughing, they started chuckling too. Because, laughter is contagious. The man who shouted that, no one even knew who he was. He wasn't part of the event. Just some random passerby who happened to speak Polish, probably had one too many drinks, and decided to bless us with that performance. Anyway, once the chaos settled, something unexpected happened. The tension in the room melted. The laughter broke all the awkward formality. Suddenly, people were talking, really talking. Americans asking about Polish words, Poles teaching them slang. Everyone sharing stories about the weirdest phrases in their languages. At one point, Marek raised a glass and said, "To the beaver, the true spirit of art." Everyone cheered. Someone brought out a bottle of Zubrowka, Polish bison grass vodka, and the fancy gallery turned into a party. Even the gallery manager gave up trying to maintain order. She started laughing too. saying, "This might be the most successful exhibit we've ever had." Later that night, we all went to a restaurant around the corner, the kind of cozy place with dim lights and old jazz playing. We kept drinking, eating, and laughing about the beaver incident. One of the American artists leaned toward me and said, "Man, I don't even know what that guy said, but I haven't laughed like this in years." I smiled. "That's Poland for you." Full of surprises, we stayed there till after midnight, and by the end of the night, people were exchanging numbers, promising to collaborate, and taking selfies like lifelong friends. Funny thing is, all it took was one drunk Polish guy shouting nonsense to remind everyone that art isn't about walls or critics or fancy speeches. It's about people, connection, and sometimes a perfectly timed Bober Kurwa. When I got home, I still couldn't stop smiling. I checked my phone, 5 missed calls from the gallery manager. I called her back and she said, "Haythem, that was chaos, but it was beautiful. Everyone loved it. We're booking you again next month." So yeah, that's how I, a translator, accidentally became part of one of the funniest cultural moments I've ever witnessed. I didn't just translate words that night, I translated laughter. And in my book, that's the best kind of work there is.